Winning the lottery doesn't always mean you get the money. It's true. This has really happened to some unlucky winners on Earth. So, why would the lottery refuse to pay someone who won fair and square? Let's find out. Number 10. Long overdue. In 2001, Martin and Kay were just a regular couple in the UK. They had the habit of playing the lottery every week with the same numbers. Nothing ever happened until one day those numbers actually hit, and they won £3 million. But the craziest thing is they didn't know because they never checked. For 6 whole months, they were sitting on a fortune and had absolutely no idea. The winning ticket was probably lost somewhere in the house or tossed in the trash. Meanwhile, the lottery people were practically begging the mystery winner to come forward. They even went on TV about it. That's when Martin and Kay finally put 2 and 2 together. They saw the numbers on the screen and thought those looked familiar. That was when they started tearing the place apart looking for the ticket. But it was gone. Still, they didn't give up. Kay remembered where she bought the ticket, and luckily, they still had the shop receipt. So they went to the lottery office thinking that this proved their win and that they were getting their money. But no, the lottery pulled out the rule book and said that if you lose your ticket, you have to report it within 30 days and not 6 months. And they were way too late. Even with the receipt and the proof, they could not get anything. It was brutal. All that hope just crushed. And honestly, it messed with them. The stress, the fighting, and the back and forth wore them down. Eventually, they broke up. Well, it was the couple's fault they never got the money. In the next story, it was nobody's fault, and people still didn't get paid. Number 9. Nobody's fault. In 2015, Illinois was basically broke. The state owed tens of billions of dollars, and things were such a mess that even lottery winners got dragged into it. At the time, if you won anything over $600 in Illinois, you would get a piece of paper saying that the state would pay you later. People were confused at first. Then they were angry. Imagine winning the lottery, thinking your life is about to change, and instead, you were told just to wait? The reason was that Illinois didn't have a state budget for 2 whole years. They were already drowning in debt, including unpaid benefits for public workers. Eventually, they had to stop selling Powerball and Mega Millions because they literally could not afford to pay the winners. At some point, people had had enough. A bunch of winners teamed up and took the state to court. Finally, by 2017, the state slowly started paying everyone back. The budget crisis started to ease up, and winners finally saw their money. Now let's listen to the story of the next unlucky winner who lost his money due to a glitch. Number 8. Testing numbers. It was early 2023, and this guy in Washington, D.C., John Cheeks, bought a Powerball ticket. He picked his usual numbers, ones that meant something to him, like family birthdays, special dates, and the kind of numbers people play every week without expecting much. He didn't even watch the draw. He just went about his day. A couple of days later, he hopped onto the DC Lottery website and checked the numbers. And there, he saw the exact same numbers he played. And the jackpot was $340 million. But instead of freaking out, he stayed calm, called a friend, told him what happened. His friend told him to take a picture of the numbers just in case. It was definitely a smart move. The next day, John went into the lottery office thinking he was about to be handed a check that would change his life forever. Instead, they told him the numbers on his ticket didn't match. He was really confused. He showed them the photo and explained what he saw online. And then someone at the office told him to throw the ticket away. Just toss it. But John didn't throw anything. He kept the ticket and got a lawyer. That's when the truth comes out. The lottery accidentally posted test numbers on their website. And those are the ones John had played. It wasn't even the real draw. So now they were saying he didn't actually win. But he trusted what they posted. And still, they didn't pay. Other states, like Iowa, made similar mistakes and gave people their money anyway, even for small wins. But Powerball went the other way. Like John, this next winner actually saw the money on the screen and still didn't get a dime. Number 7. Stupid machine. Veronica Castillo went to a casino with her mom just to relax and have a little fun. It was just a normal visit to Lucky Eagle Casino in Washington. She put $100 into a slot machine, pressed the button, and suddenly the light started flashing on the screen. It said she had just won $8 million. For a few minutes, Veronica went numb. She was shocked. excited and probably already thinking of how to spend it. But then the casino staff walked over and killed the moment. They told her it was all a mistake and just a malfunction. The machine had glitched. According to them, she hadn't won anything. And just like that, her $8 million turned into $80 because that's all they gave her. They shut off the machine, wheeled it away, and pointed to a little sticker that said, "Malfunction voids all pays." Veronica was furious. And honestly, who wouldn't be? She said it felt like fraud. And she started wondering how many other people had a win taken away from them because of a so-called glitch. So she took action. Hired a lawyer to hold the casino accountable. Meanwhile, the casino's CEO claimed this was all new to him. He said their machines don't even offer jackpots that big. He promised an investigation, said the machine was going to be checked by the manufacturer, and called it a display error. In the end, Veronica didn't get anything. Unlike Veronica, this next player did get something, but it was still not her lottery money. Number 6. The most expensive dinner. In August 2016, Katrina Bookman was at a Resorts World casino in Queens, New York, just trying her luck. She played a slot machine and suddenly, the screen flashed a number so big she could hardly believe it. It said she had won $43 million. She was in shock, smiling, crying, taking a selfie with the screen because that number would have made her the biggest slot winner in US history. But the next day, her dreams were shattered when a casino staff member told her the win wasn't real. They claimed the machine had glitched. And just like that, her jackpot dreams vanished. According to the New York State Gaming Commission, the machine had malfunctioned. And when that happens, the rules say all winnings are void. So, what did they offer Katrina instead of her $43 million? Just a steak dinner. Katrina, who grew up in foster care and was raising 4 kids on her own, had big dreams when she saw that number. She thought life had finally changed for the better. But no, they said she was only owed $2.25, which was the amount from her actual spin. The broken machine was quietly taken away, fixed, and then put right back into use. Now it's making us wonder, how easy is it for a casino to just call it a glitch when the prize is too big? It all seems a little too convenient. Now, this next story will prove to you that sometimes moving too fast costs you everything. Number 5. Haste makes waste. This is the story of 2 friends, Eric Onyango and Salvatore Cambria. They were roommates, they shared expenses, and they always played the lottery together. It was their little habit. One would grab the ticket, the other would check the numbers. One evening after buying their usual Powerball ticket, they sat down to see if luck had finally struck. Eric pulled up the results on the website, and Salvatore had the ticket in hand. Eric read out the numbers one by one. They didn't match. So what did they do? Salvatore tossed the ticket in the trash like he used to do all the time. But the next day, the real numbers were posted. Turns out, the website they had checked was outdated. They had looked too early, and the numbers on that losing ticket were worth $1 million. They were crushed. They had no idea where the ticket went. The garbage was already collected. They talked about searching dumps, using sniffer dogs, anything to get that piece of paper back. They even had the purchase receipt and camera footage from the store, but the rules were crystal clear that if you don't have a physical ticket, you don't get the payout. Still, they tried. They filed a lawsuit and argued that in today's world, people rely on online updates, and it was unfair to punish them for a slow website. And they weren't wrong. But the court didn't care. And just like that, $1 million was gone because they checked too fast and cleaned up too soon. If you think these friends were dumb to throw away their lottery ticket, listen to this next story of even dumber best friends. Number 4. Creatures of habit. In April 2019, 2 guys from Bolton, Mark Goodrum and John Ross Watson, thought they had hit the jackpot. And they kind of did, but they also messed it up in the most ridiculous way possible. Mark had just gotten out of jail and linked up with his old buddy Watson. They had no money, no jobs, but clearly they had ideas. But the kind of ideas that land you back in handcuffs. Somehow they got their hands on a stolen debit card. And instead of laying low, they used it to buy a scratch card. Turns out that thing was worth over $5 million. In simple words, they won real money on a card that wasn't theirs. When the lottery company contacted them about the prize, they asked for their bank deals to make the transfer. That's when Goodrum said something so stupid it ruined everything. He said he didn't have a bank account. He was there telling the lottery he used the debit card but didn't have a bank account. That's when the officials sensed something was wrong. Well, the investigation started. Mark and John Ross decided to go full celebration mode. They bragged to the press, went shopping, and lived like kings on stolen money. They even hired a lawyer thinking they could fight their way to the prize, but they couldn't. Both were arrested. Watson got 18 months and Goodrum got 19. All they had to do was not steal a card. And just when you think things cannot get more frustrating, here comes the holiday heartbreak. Number 3. Won and then lost. On Christmas Day 2017, South Carolina experienced kind of a miracle. There was a glitch in the holiday cash add-a-play game that accidentally turned thousands of tickets into winners. For about 2 hours, people were celebrating left and right. 42,000 tickets were sold, and people won over $1.7 million in prizes. But that joy didn't last. The lottery system flagged it as a programming error and shut the game down. Soon after, they made it clear that none of those wins would be honored and their money would be refunded. So imagine going from a winning ticket to getting your money back. On Christmas, no less. People were furious, but the lottery stuck to the rules and didn't budge. This turned out to be South Carolina's worst Christmas ever. Now here's a case where a tiny technicality nearly stole someone's win. Number 2. A ridiculous technicality. Kathleen Lambert and her husband thought they were in for a good day. They had just won $1,000 on a scratch-off ticket in Florida and drove over an hour and a half to the Gainesville lottery office to claim it. But when they got there, they got some unbelievable news that they were not getting paid. Just because during the pandemic, her husband received unemployment benefits, and apparently the state claimed he owed money back. So instead of handing over the winnings, the lottery office held on to it. And it wasn't just them. Thousands of other Florida lottery winners were being blocked from their prizes for the same reason that there were debts that they didn't even know they had. It was a mess. But then ABC's I-Team got involved. They started asking questions, exposing the flaws and putting pressure on the system. Bit by bit, things began to shift. The truth came out, and slowly, the state started giving people their money back. Kathleen and many others finally got what they were owed, not as a favor, but because it was rightfully theirs. And finally, we have a story from England of an unlucky couple who didn't get their money because they were already broke. Let us explain what that means. Number 1. Being broke. In May 2022, Rachel and Liam were living together. The couple had a routine. Every week, they would use the same set of numbers on the lottery app. And then, finally, one day those exact numbers showed up in the jackpot draw. They had won £182 million, which is over $230 million. The app even notified them that their winning numbers had matched. Just imagine their excitement. But it didn't last long. When they contacted the lottery to claim their prize, they got the worst news possible. They told them their ticket wasn't valid because the payment for it had failed. A direct debit of just a few pounds hadn't gone through because Rachel's account didn't have enough in it that day, and the app never told them. They thought the ticket had gone through like always. This is how one tiny payment error cost them hundreds of millions. And despite the heartbreak, they said they would keep playing. But let's be honest, nothing could make up for that missed shot. Now, those were the unlucky ones. But what happens to the people who actually get the money? Watch the next video to see how today's lottery winners are really living.